to nobody's surprise, Death Note sweeps round 6. Now, this poll was kind of a filler poll because I wanted to just kind of test some other shows before going in to reproduce Death Note versus Monster versus Full Metal Alchemist versus One Punch Man. And the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of other people have also noticed something different about this specific poll. Because in the past, again, about a month ago or so, we had a poll before Bake was in, where basically Death Note got killed. Same with Full Metal Alchemist, and Monster came out on top. But ever since I've separated the selections like this, One Punch Man has been dominating over and over again, where One Punch Man beat Monster, Brotherhood, but finally Death Note beat One Punch Man. So it's like a rock, paper, scissors situation happening. And the reason for that is because, look at this poll right here. The competitors are Angel Beats and Future Diary. So all the people that might have not voted for Death Note if Monster or FMA was in there are now brigading together. And some people genuinely don't even care about Death Note. They just hate One Punch Man more. Therefore, they're voting for Death Note, which is an issue that is not solvable, right? This is just human behavior when it comes to polls. They don't care about voting for what they actually want. They vote in like a meta way. I mean, this happens in real life too, and that's why nothing changes, because they think that established like status quo parties that's always winning will win, and they think that if I vote for something else, then suddenly I'm wasting my ballot. And because of that, nothing ever changes. Well, it's fine, because at the end of the day, this isn't real fucking life. This is just anime reactions. And at the final end, when we go to the grand finals and put whatever is in the lead with Nisei Monogatari, we have a third option, right? And this is why people were confused about like this here. So many people were like, oh, Bake lost. Oh, look at that. It's not 41%. No. Bake won here, despite it not being the majority, because the people that voted here, again, right? Let's take this. Let's take this. And if you truly don't understand this, let me try to illustrate this point again, right? Jesus Christ. Come on. We take this. We take this. And then what you need to realize is all 37 people here are united on one thing. 22 people united on one thing. But the 41%, this is a combination of many separate shows. Maybe 10% here, 5% here, 6% here, and then what is it? Maybe 20% here. I don't know. To make up 41%, right? So when you look at it this way, 41% people don't want to watch these shows, and that's totally fine. Because they can't even figure out something to even unite on. And once you realize that Bake actually did win. And it's important to know what this number is. It's very important to know what this number is still. Because that's the amount of people that don't care about what the majority vote is. And that still is an issue. And our goal is to minimize the gap between 37 and 41 as closely as possible, right? This 4% margin of what majority got voted in versus what everyone else doesn't want. It's important to keep tab of that, such that, let's say next poll, right? Let's say we go at Nisei versus, I don't know, One Punch Man or Death Note, and then I'll also have Give Me Something Else. We'll carefully analyze what is the difference in you know, the viewership here, because I think that, again, 37 and 41 is perfectly fine. But if it was a situation like 20% here, right? And maybe 5% here, right? For Monster. And then, what was it? Like 75? I want something else? This is now a problem, right? I think we can safely assume that this difference is actually fucked up. But here's the thing. We have systems in place in order to prevent this outcome from happening. And what is that system? Literally what I've been doing over and over again. Asking you guys, constantly engaging with my community and trying to figure out not just one poll, not two polls, not even taking the most liked comments, but constantly just making these shows duke it out against each other so that we can have the highest precision show possible. And right now, it's Death Note. Or at least it's seemingly like Death Note. Darling in the Franxx at 15 is actually kind of shocking. I thought Darling in the Franxx would win, would come in like second place. And then Nisekoi, and then Wandering Witch. I didn't think that many people even knew what Wandering Witch was because I didn't know what that anime was. But it looks like a lot of people actually care about that, which is pretty interesting. Let's read some of the comments. Wandering Witch is unironically peak, apparently. Death Note fans, just more potato chip jokes. Nisekoi in the pool. More Wandering Witch, Wandering Witch. Darling in the Franxx. Let's see. Darling in the Franxx, sad ending. Yeah, sure. It's crazy that Death Note is clearing everyone now. I don't think it's that crazy. It may seem crazy to you because, again, the last time you saw Death Note in the poll was when it got wiped by Monster. But again, that's the point of the next poll that we're about to do. What else is there? A lot of people just glazing Wandering Witch Elaine a lot. So many people glazing it. This shit's so unfair. What's unfair? That you have so many different content that we can watch together. Underrated animes in the same pool as Death Note. Look at the percentage. It's crazy. It's unfair for who? You? Again, like, people have a misunderstanding of what my content strategy and these polls are. This is not about making underrated shows get reacted on content. All I care about is giving people what they want. Okay? So this is actually the most fair process. And if your shows are losing, that's just a reality. Just fucking cry about it. Nisekoi over One Punch Man. I don't know. Nisekoi was hype back then. I think Nisekoi was a really big handhold name back then, right? The harem. Oh, I don't know about OG harem, but it's kind of like an Unk harem series at this point, right? That shit used to be popping off during like the what? Early 2010s or something, and a lot of people were talking about it. I haven't seen it just yet. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. It's probably going to be one of those shows that constantly just never has like a conclusive pairing and just goes for like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chapters without any progress, and then has like a very fucked up ending. That's usually what happens to most harem shows though, right? Anything else? I bet I'll cry watching Darling in the Franxx. I doubt it, bro. If I didn't cry during Takopi, or I don't know, I hardly, maybe I'm underestimating Darling in the Franxx because of the memes that I've seen. When is the last time I saw Nisekoi? Lamau, such a classic. Nisekoi, the boomer anime. I guess no Nisekoi for now. One Punch Fraud is out as expected. Well, we'll see about that in the next poll. Man, it sucks. Other than 3 ain't winning this one. Not hating on Death Note. Yeah, sure. Any other content right over here? This is the video where I updated you. Doesn't that mean that most or at least good amount of Kaka's fan base is that psychology anime enjoyer? So I feel like if he either reacts to Death Note or Monster, both the people who voted for Monster and the people who voted for Death Note will watch either series. That is a decent assumption to make, but I don't think the overlap will be that significant. We'll have to see about it. But I think that the type of people that would watch Monster, I think, would watch Death Note, but it's not like everyone's gonna do that. This is the interesting part though, right? It's just that they're voting that one they like a little bit more than the other. That's why the votes were a bit split when they were in the same poll. Exactly right here, right? It's the same audience that got split. That's why we're going to reproduce the poll results again. Gotta love how much content Kaka can make out of his own polls. Truly peak grind set. I mean, this actually is the type of content, like, basically, I need to make more content like this. And what I mean by that is, you need to be, like, when you make anime reaction content, especially for my type of content in the main channel, not like second channel content where we're focused on one thing only. When you try to cover so many different topics, you have such a fragmented audience, again, right? If we look at this, maybe some of your visual learners, so you'll understand this a little better, but basically, if this is like the amount of subscribers that I have, in my second channel, everybody is on board with Ben 10 right now because I'm only making Ben 10 content, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, second channel exists where my entire strategy is the complete opposite of main channel content. I'm hyper focused on average viewership per video. And the theory is, if you focus on just one topic and scale it out, the recommendation system will understand who your audience is better. Therefore, the average viewership is so consistent and strong, despite the sub count being nearly 4 times smaller than that. That's the whole goal of this. Now, even though average viewership can be very high, the issue with second channel content like this is that I can't pump out more content. Because as much as I'd love to be able to pump out 8 videos a day on the second channel, there is no strategy that allows that unless I break this philosophy. I could pump out multiple Ben 10 reactions per day. I think that that's not a good idea. I think that there would be absolutely fatigue and people that would get, you know, fatigued of it. I think 1 video a day is perfectly fine. I could have a second show pulled in and we could be juggling 2 to 3 different shows on the second channel. But if we do that again, it goes against my purpose, my philosophy that I'm trying to scale out just 1 show at a time. If I start to do other shows and juggle 2 things at once, I think that the average viewership will tank, and that's not my goal here. So that is like the pros and cons of the second channel. The issue with the main channel is that basically it's like this, right? It's basically the issue with the main channel is you know what I'm saying? Because of so many different type of content that we cover, right? What ends up happening is just a fragmentation of so many different audiences where I'm trying to figure out, right? How can I get as much people on board? But that's so hard to do, right? And this is the struggle with horizontal scaling variety content channels. And that's why the average viewership is so low for main channel. And even though the average viewership is so low for the main channel, it's sustainable because, again, you can basically pump out as much videos as you want. And at the end of the day, the monthly viewership is all that matters. And this allows me creative freedom to do whatever I want to do, while at the same time, not being stuck into one show. And the issue with anime reactions, specifically anime reactions, and this is the new poll we're going to do, is the fact that anime reactions, when you do so many different shit, again, I just talked about the fragmentation of the audience and how, like, everybody cares about Lord of the Mysteries, duh. But how many people actually give a fuck about Kaiju 8? Or let's say, you know, Call of the Night or Arknight or whatever, right? It's gonna suffer, but it's fine. It's all part of the plan. And the beautiful thing about these type of poll videos is that not only is it keeping my audience updated in how the system works and how we pick these community shows, it's also the type of content that is like everybody here, right? Everybody here can basically watch it. There's a very funny thing that happens in my streams. If we look at Twitch tracker, basically, let's look at the stream. We're trying to look at the life cycle of a stream. So let's look at this. So you'll notice that there's a very interesting situation happening. So basically, this is start and the end of a stream, and the green is the average viewership. And you'll notice that there's constant peaks, ups and downs, and ups and downs, right? And this is very unique for an anime reaction channel or reaction content, because basically up till this part, the initial part of the stream, up until the peak, this is all content like what I'm doing right now. Everyone can watch this part and stick around because it's variety content that everyone can enjoy. You don't have to be caught up in the specific anime, right? You don't have to be in fear that, oh, I'm going to spoil about this anime that I haven't watched yet. Everyone can be on board. As soon as I start a specific reaction, though, it dies down. And then when the episode reaction is done, everyone comes together in the waiting lobby again, waiting for what the content is next. Then it dies down and over again, right? So with that in mind, this type of like poll content is the same thing, where everyone can be on board. They don't have to be watching a specific show. And the more content like this that I can make, the better, obviously, the sense of community can be formed. It's still an impossible goal to expect everyone to watch every reaction, but that's fine, because that is the intention of this channel anyways. And my final point here is that these type of poll videos, it's a great way that I should have been done from the past, where my goal is to, again, update you guys and keep everyone involved, and everybody loves polls and the engagement goes up, and we can try to figure out the most highly accurate pick possible. Now, I know people are going to be crying over here saying, why the fuck is One Punch Man back in here? But again, right now, we have a very interesting scenario where Death Note came out on top, even though in the previous poll, with this exact lineup, Death Note lost to Monster. Now, One Punch Man wasn't in the poll last time, but still, we're going to put it in. By scientific reasoning, right? By what happened to the last poll, what happened last month, there should be no way that Death Note loses to Monster. Monster loses to Death Note, right? I don't think that the audience has significantly changed over the last month. If this was like half a year later, then I'd say, okay, maybe. But right now, we're going to do this. We're going to reproduce this poll. We're going to see what wins. And then we'll take whatever wins here and then advance that with some other shows. We're currently on Bake episode 12. We have 13, 14, 15 to go. Then the Kizus happen, and then Nisei happens. So sometime within the next week or two, we're going to have the final poll, grand finals. Whatever comes out on top, we'll vote it with Nisei, and then we'll go with whatever wins there, okay? Round 7 poll going, posted. Remember, community tab. Go over there on the post tab. Check it out. See you next time.